Yes, guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Real Betis match review, where Sunderland have just lost by a goal to nil at their first Stadium of Light game in pre-season, where Granit Xhaka did captain the side, which is still a mental sentence to come out of my mouth. I feel like I'm living in a alternate universe here, but still, I have seen a few people online losing their minds a little bit and going a little bit overboard, which I just think it is mental. It is pre-season. However, I am going to acknowledge some concerns, which we all know what they are, in terms of we need defensive recruitments in there and a little sprinkling here and there. We're fully aware of it. However, I am going to pick out the positives. I'm not usually just an all-out happy clapper, but I am remaining very positive because apart from the scoreline, there was a very, very large amount of positives to take away from that game, which I know some people, straight after a game when you've been beat, regardless of whether it's been pre-season, they find it difficult to see a positive side, but there were. But before we do get into it, if you do me a massive favour, please hit the like button for me and subscribe if you are new. And if you'd like to become a channel member, that'd be stupidly appreciated as well. And one more thing, the t-shirt I've got on now from the South Stand Clothing, it's got a big black cat logo, it's got a big black cat graphic on the back as well. There is still a giveaway going, I think it's until the 7th of August, I believe. There's a link down below to get yourself entered into that competition. But now, getting into it, we did take on Real Betis, of course, a very high calibre opposition, and that's what I'm happy about, by the way. The level of teams that we are playing, of course, with Sevilla, you've got Sporting, and these today. Of course, they're going to be close affairs, and if anything, that is a positive in itself. They were all very, very close affairs in which we more than held our ground, right? Because it'd be so much easier for us to play a load of League One, League Two, non-league teams and win 4-5-0 every game. Everyone thinks we're amazing. Then all of a sudden, we're playing Premier League opposition and we're getting smacked to pieces because we're not used to playing that calibre of opposition or that level of opposition in general. Do you know what I mean? And that's not me just clutching at straws. It's just true. I want these lads to be tested against high-level opposition. That's exactly what's happening. And again, I can only repeat, we more than held our own today, but there, of course, are some glaringly obvious improvements that need to be made. So getting into this one, with against the team, we did play with Roofs making his first start, and I will say straight off the bat, by the way, he looked fantastic. Again, it's only pre-season, but every single cross that he actually came out for, he claimed with no issues. He was more than capable on the ball, really calm, assured. He had a real mature head on his shoulders for such a young lad, and he is a big gargantuan man. Between the sticks. The goal that was conceded, there was very little he could do about it. It was a great header into the top corner. So I want to give him his due, I want to give him his credit, because he looked really sure, given he only signed, yesterday, officially anyway. He's only been around the club over the last 48 hours, and he's thrown in the deep end straight away, and he put in a fantastic performance, in my opinion. Right back, we did have Trey Hume. Now, in the middle, we had a first stop for Reinildo, who is naturally a left-back, but of course, Seal wasn't even in the squad, so I'm presuming he's picked up a knock, which doesn't surprise me, as much as I think he's been fantastic in pre-season. Usually, his track record is 4 or 5 games and then an injury, so it doesn't massively surprise me. Whether that is the case, I don't know, but he wasn't involved in the matchday squad today. But Reinildo was alongside Dan Ballard in the middle of defence. Left back, we had Harrison Jones again, and for me, I can't knock the lad, Harrison Jones, because he's not a left back by trade whatsoever. It's been shoehorned in there. And on the ball, and he's not shying away from everything, he's not shying away from challenges, but it is glaringly obvious that he isn't a left back, and 99.9% of their attacks today came down his side because they saw that there was a weakness there. But I think he did okay. But, at times when you come up against the quality, against teams like this, they've got lots of Isco in there, who's a world-class player anyway and has been for a long time. He's gonna ruin him. Do you know what I mean? Although, of course, Isco don't play on that right-hand side, but they've got that youngster on the right who just has blistering pace and strength, and did have him round his little finger at times. You know what I mean? He really did teach Jones a lesson. That's not to say he played awful, but he just isn't left back. But now in the midfield, and this is where it does really excite me. This is where a lot of the positives come from me. So we had Granit Xhaka and Siddiqui as almost the holding roles, or the central midfield roles. We had Diarra playing in a Lafay role, because Lafay started on the bench today. On the right-hand side, we had Telby, Adingra on the left, and Mayenda up top. Now, the opening exchanges, you can see that they were almost trying to take control of the middle, and Isco was just pinging around the ball, dictating the play. But very, very quickly, I found that the combination of Xhaka and Siddiqui just did not allow that whatsoever. And for large parts of the game, they could not get near the centre of the pitch. Because Siddiqui, as I keep on bigging the lad up, but he has been fantastic. Siddiqui is the one out of the two between Granit Xhaka and him who's constantly chasing around, he's constantly nipping at the heels of players. He just doesn't seem like he tires the lad, and he's permanently sprinting. Do you know what I mean? And he's constantly getting it, constantly nicking in there, constantly going into hard challenges, which we love. Yet Granit Xhaka, he would pick the ball up off the defence, he's picking it left, right and centre. The quality on that lad, honestly, Granit Xhaka, which we knew anyway, and he captained them. When he came out with the captain's armband, I thought, like I said, what realm am I in? But some of the passes, even though some of them didn't quite come off, they were just passes that you know that no one else on the pitch would have even noticed or attempted. Do you know what I mean? But he would pick it up off the back. He was the one dictating the play, and the middle looked fantastic. Diarra would come in when he had to, but he was also pressing high, and he was very busy as well. Talby and Adingra on each side, for me, they're still very rough around the edges, and that's not to say they were absolutely shite or anything like that, because they weren't. I feel like Talby is growing into it, but very, very slowly, and that's why I'm saying, and have said for the last couple of videos, I think we definitely need another winger in there to compete. Adingra seems to have solidified his place on the left-hand side. However, with Adingra, I think he was actually really good today, and he actually scored an offside goal that was very debatable. So we could have gone away with at least a draw, or maybe even gone on to win the game had that have stood. But Adingra, for me, what he does, he sort of does one thing that is absolutely class, and you think, wow, what a player, and it'll be quickly followed by something equally awful. Do you know? Do you know what I mean? So there was like one time on the left hand side of the pitch, he's flicked it over his man's head, ran with the ball, took it on another lad, and then played the ball on. And you're thinking, wow, what a player! And then 2 minutes later, he'll have the ball on the left hand side, seemingly unchallenged, and he'll just run the ball off the pitch after a piss poor touch. So it's just fine-tuning little things. Talby, like I said, his link-up play is good, but for me, it looks like he just really doesn't want to get on at his man on that right-hand side. I've seen a lot of people suggest maybe putting him over to the left and giving him a go there. Maybe he'd be more comfortable shuffling out from left to right onto his favoured right foot. I don't know, but he just seems really uncomfortable getting at players. But that's not to say he wasn't good, because I think he was all right. He was playing nice little triangles, and we were making a load of half chances in which you'd see like the likes of Granit Xhaka get involved, and then Diarra, nice flick onto Hume, back to Xhaka, plays it through to Diarra, who put it across goal, and it just missed my ender. And that did happen a handful of times. It was just that finishing touch that we needed that wasn't there. Talby had an effort from distance, and there were chances, as I say, there were chances. They hit the bar in the first half as well. And then Hume had to, it looked like it may have been a handball, but he cleared it off the line. But other than that, we limited them to very, very little, just crossing the box, and we're dealing with it. Reynaldo, I think, looked great. I complained a little bit online before the game started when I saw that he was playing centre-back. Not to say I don't think he can play there, because he can, but obviously I just want to see him in his preferred position at left-back. And for me, he was almost like the most assured player in the pitch. He was absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Like what I like to see from Reynaldo, and I saw a few times, is between our third and the middle third, whenever there was a gap in between there that they were trying to sort of penetrate, if there was a gap in between there, he had no problem stepping in whilst they've got the ball and just rushing out and making a challenge. Occasionally it would be a foul, but he's stopping them from getting into those areas, which I loved. On the ball, he was really assured, really, really calm, and of course he's a veteran player at this point, and he's got a hell of a CV, so you'd semi-expect that, but from a lad who hasn't played for us before, it was really nice to see, so that's another positive there. Second half as well, that was a much more cagey affair. I was quite glad that Rodgers didn't bring on a sort of wholesale change and bring on like 6-7 players on the hour mark or 70-minute mark, whatever it was. He only made a couple, and that's just when it really was glaringly obvious that we don't have much strength in depth. Of course, we had like Lafay coming on, Huggins came on, and what I did like is us seeing Huggins on the right-hand side. Reynaldo will come off because obviously it's his first game. And again, it shows where we are weak, because we have Troy Hume and Dan Ballard as our centre-back partnership, and Huggins on the left-hand side, Jones on the left, Huggins on the right and Jones on the left. And then their goal came, they had a set piece, they worked it on the left-hand side, they put it in the box, and like I said earlier, it was a fantastic header that went into the top right-hand corner. But prior to that, we had a brilliant goal that was chalked off. I think it was Jacques, actually. It was a beautifully pinged ball over the top for Adingra. He nicely just knocks it under the keeper's legs to make it, or what we believed to be 1-0. But I've seen a few people online say that he definitely wasn't offside. I'd have to see it back. The angle that I saw wasn't a great one. But yeah, I mean, there was loads of positives, like I said there. Like that midfield trio there, it just shows that we're starting to find something there now. I just felt that at times, before the goal went in, when some people started losing their head, I felt like we were literally 1 or 2 signings, maybe 2 or 3 signings away from being the finished article. And when I say the finished article, I don't mean like the best team in the Premier League, of course not, but a team capable of competing, because we were. That midfield, we weren't allowing them anywhere near it. They just had to stick down that right-hand side against poor Harrison Jones, who, again, he wasn't terrible, but I keep on repeating myself, he doesn't play there. But we did, with that nice link-up play, that combination of Siddiqui and Xhaka, they couldn't get anywhere near him. Xhaka, because he is just that very intelligent player. He has that sort of build as well, where he can just push plays off the ball with absolute ease, made a good handful of challenges, but equally what he's so clever at is finding space off the ball when it looks like there's nowhere. He just always seems to have space, and high caliber world-class players like Xhaka, they're capable of doing that. They just always seem to have so much time on the ball. He'd always find space, and you can see he was vocal with the captain's armband on. A couple of little snippets of his sort of leadership ability did come out, which I really like to see. That one point that I did see, which I know it sounds small and it might sound a bit silly, but I just really liked it, was Jacques had the ball, he picked it up from deep, and he was looking around, there wasn't a massive amount of movement in front of him, and he pointed at Meander and was telling him, right, come deep for it, and he did. So he's drilled it into him. Meander actually held it off really well, and then turned and passed it, and then as soon as Meander did that, Jacques looked like he was celebrating as if we'd scored a goal. Like, he was so pleased and happy for him, like, yes, that's what I wanted to see. Do you know what I mean? And we haven't had that sort of vocal point in the middle of the park for so long. So again, there was loads of positives in there. There was plenty of nearly moments when there was nice touches around the box, nice little triangles, we'd play it across goal, and then the finishing touch wasn't there. So again, this isn't me trying to be a happy clapper, it's just what I'm seeing. I'm glad we're playing this high calibre opposition, because we are going to be playing against high level opposition all season long. So I'm glad that we are being tested, and it's not like we're getting twatted 4-0 off him. I know the Hearts game we won't speak about, that was a little bit different, I suppose, but these are the kind of teams we'll be up against, and we didn't put out a particularly poor showing. It's just we need a couple of centre backs. We need another winger, I think, just to compete. And up top, we need another striker. Of course, it looks like we're going to get that very, very, very soon. We're actually linked with the Leipzig striker. Is it Openda? During the game, I think it was, we were linked with Openda. It was Sky Germany who said that Sunderland have put him on their list of targets, which is ridiculous, because it was only not long ago, where this lad had an £80 million release clause, and he's generally scored sort of 20 to 30 goals a season for the last few years. I think last year it was a little shy of that, but generally he's a proper goal scorer, only 25, and that was quickly sort of squashed a little bit. I believe Nick Barnes said that that's absolutely not happening, and then Keith Dhannoo came out and said it's not happening. However, Sky Sports Germany say that we're interested, so I don't know. That's just as unlikely as the Granit Xhaka one, but look what happened there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Like I said, I don't think it's time to throw the toys out the pram. However, I can acknowledge that we only have a couple of games left in pre-season. We need to get these bodies in, and quickly, because having Harrison Jones at left back isn't ideal to start the Premier League season with. Of course, we'd like to see injuries come back as well, but that defensive line, I feel like as soon as you get that defensive line sorted, get another striker in, which it looks like we're going to, and a bit of competition out wide, because for me, I think Talby's going to need a bit more time to bed in for me. Adingra, yes, it can be frustrating, but there was absolutely glimpses of class quality from him today. I think we will be there or thereabouts in terms of where I personally would like to see us, but we're not too far away, guys. Don't lose your shit just yet. But I will leave it there, guys. If you have enjoyed, if you disagree, if you agree, that's absolutely fine. Just please be respectful in the comments. If you're angry about losing in pre-season and you want to call me a dick for it, do it. I don't mind. I don't mind. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. How are the lads? Keep the faith.